Attention pro athletes. Want to secure your financial legacy and thrive off the field? Oakbridge Wealth Management, led by wealth manager Chris Anicetti, is your dedicated financial planning ally. But don't take it from me. Take it from the Dallas Cowboys' Tyler Biadasz. He says, Chris set goals financially and has been incredibly impactful in my journey in the NFL. Experience our customized, comprehensive approach, trusted by top NFL players. Don't leave your financial success to chance. Connect with Chris on Instagram at OakbridgeWM_Anicetti. That's OakbridgeWM_ANICETE, and let Oakbridge Wealth Management guide you across the goal line.
First sheet again, big opening, pass 5, pass 10, Vermont's a man, and he goes all the way to the 15-yard line. 17 yards out the territory.
Welcome back to Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by BetOnline.ag and Oakbridge Wealth Management. Once again, I'm Matt Perkins. Today, we are here for part 3 of our 5-part scouting special with Clint Cosgrove, and we've got the back 7 on defense. We're looking at linebackers and defensive backs from the prep class of 2024. A really exciting group. We know Clint loves defensive backs, so it's a lot of fun to break down these units, and I think there's a lot of stars here in the future for the Badgers. Before we get back into it with Clint, want to remind everyone that we are presented by BetOnline.ag, where they continue to be your number one source for all of your online sports wagering needs. You name it, they've got it over there at BetOnline. Head on over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit with our promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, we're going to finish off part 3 here of our scouting megapod with the defensive back 7. We got some linebackers. We got some defensive backs. Clint, just hold your horses. We'll get to the D-backs here in a second. We're going to start with the linebackers, though, and we're going to start with Thomas Heiberger, who is edge rusher out of South Dakota. Don't see a lot of players coming out of South Dakota, but you also don't see a lot of edge rushers at 6'4", 215, 220 coming out of high school who have this kind of just burst coming right off the ball.
Yeah, you put him in, Illinois, Ohio. Like, I think of him being an Ohio kid, and he's like, a highly, highly recruited kid. He's got a great physical skill set. He's not as raw as you would expect from a kid who plays in South Dakota. Like, his physical skills, like, look at that. Take the soul out of the quarterback, and you do that. And I just absolutely love the kid. We've talked about him on the podcast before. His ability to play in space, his ability to rush the passer, his length, his strength, his want to, and his love of football. I've talked with him. I think I did his commitment video with him.
You did.
This kid has incredible upside. He was a 4-star candidate. It's really hard, unless they're in an All-American game, to get those kids to the 4-star level. But he's a 4-star player all day when you look at the film and you look at the measurables and you look at the skill set. I think in this defense where they're going to ask him to be a rusher, they're going to ask him to cover, they're going to ask him to stunt and maybe, cross dog with a D tackle. Like, he's perfect for it. Look at him use his hands there, butt up a guy. All right. He's got a strong punch. His block destruction's phenomenal. And what is one of the biggest things that Wisconsin lacked this year? It's a pass rush. And you're going to need that from the linebackers in the 3-3-5. And that is exactly what he brings to the table. Like I said, if he's at Ohio, he's probably at Ohio State. I think he's got a ton of upside. I think this is a phenomenal addition. Just from talking to him, he's very kind of like blue collar work ethic, and he's got the measurables to go along with it. I think he's got a very bright future. I love what he brings to the table. I think he is a guy much out of the mold of a lot of these Wisconsin guys, like the Sanborns, that are like, they're highly rated, but they're not necessarily like can't miss prospects. I think he's like that, and I think he has an NFL future.
Yeah, go ahead, Bern, because there's a
speed
lot
off
of
the edge and the defeating blocks and I mean, obviously the size and the speed, but the guy can get around blocks and he can play as a linebacker. You could see him on the line, you could see him backed off. I think that's where our defensive scheme will be, and he seems like he fits that mold perfectly.
Yeah, and he runs an electric 4.6 in the 40. Like,
does he really?
Yeah, he's got the
Four-star.
athleticism for, if he's anywhere besides like South Dakota, this kid's a 4-star. Absolutely. Even if he's in Colorado, if he's in Iowa, if he's somewhere where there's more recruits, more scouts anywhere, he's a 4-star. And I love him.
Nobody's seen him.
Nobody's seen him. Everyone's going to say Andrew Van Ginkel, another great pass rusher from South Dakota for that recklessly high upside. That's a good one. I've got even one step above that for him, TJ Watt. I mean, he's got the length.
Oh, wow.
He's got that first step off the edge.
Face.
He can bend. He's got long arms. He can hold off defenders with long arms, get under them. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm jacked up about this one. And I'm jacked up about the pairing that he has at the outside linebacker position with Anelu Lafaele out of Hawaii, because one of the things that we love about defensive players, especially, front seven guys, is violence. My God, this guy plays with some serious violence, Clint.
He plays like his hair is on fire. He's listed at 6'3", 230. He runs like a defensive back. His dad is a high school football coach. He played at a powerhouse, St. Louis, home of the great Lyle Maeva, my old roommate, who lived down the hall from Donovan Raiola. And, I'm just telling you, this kid plays like his hair is on fire and he wants to kill you. I love the fact that his dad is a football coach. You see him come downhill. You see him rush the passer. You see him redirect. You see him go through guys. He runs around guys. He runs through guys. And he is disruptive as all get out. What did we miss on the defense as a whole? Disruption this year. He creates chaos. I know you said that highlights are grainy, but they're just grainy enough for Wisconsin to get him and not Alabama. And you got to love that about him. So upside there, motor there, football coach's son there, bigger than looks there, makes plays on the ball. I don't know if he caught that or didn't. He should have, but I'm sure he heard about it from his dad if he did not. This kid is a player. I love his motor, and there is nothing. If I had to pick anybody who's not the 4-star and higher kids, who has the best chance of success due to his background, I'm going to put it on this kid. He's going to come and hurt a quarterback.
Listen, the term disruption is perfect for this kid. Like, he doesn't care if it's a tackle, a guard, a center, a back. No one's getting in his way for his goal. And I love disruption is huge in football. It makes O-linemen freak out. It makes the offense go crazy. And that is what this kid brings to the table. And the Hawaiian dudes have motors. Like, they have motors. They play violent. They play a different. It's not the 48. The lower 48 or whatever anyone calls us. Like, it's just not that type of football. It is something completely. What is that? That's what Alaska calls us. He's not playing
lower 48 football.
He's not playing mainland football. That's for sure. He is playing Hawaii football, and they do not play games in Hawaii. They are out for blood. And this kid is going to disrupt where we need disrupting.
He's out for blood. Reckless high comp. Another outside linebacker for the Steelers, not the one you're thinking of. I'm not going to go with Nick Herbig. He doesn't have the same game as Nick Herbig. No, it's Alex Highsmith on the Steelers, one of their other outside linebackers. Similar game, just tenacity, anger, violence, disruption, and motor. I absolutely love. I love it. I've been saying that about because I love him. I love him. Of course, I love him. Of course, I love him. But I love this class, man. It's just a bunch of dudes.
What's in your tea, bro?
What's in my tea?
What is it?
Green tea, baby. Ain't nothing like it.
Green tea. Yeah, he's going to slap you in the face and take you to church on Sunday, and that's what you love about these kids.
Highly concentrated green tea.
Highly concentrated green tea. We're going to head back to the state of Wisconsin for another linebacker out of Green Bay, Bayport. We've seen a ton of great players come out of Bayport. It's just the next one. It's Landon Gauthier. And he's going to play inside for Wisconsin. Another big 6'4" kid, Clint.
Yeah. Landon is a thumper. Look at him run downfield and just be like, get out of my way or die. Like, that's his, that's his mentality. He's such a soft-spoken, nice kid. Like, I think I did a commitment video with him too. And I just remember talking with him and I'm like, this guy is like, this is Wisconsin football. like the guy knows he's good inside and he knows he's going to take the soul out of you. Oh my God. Like, look at that lineman try to block him. This is Wisconsin football, known for linemen. Like, it'd be one thing if it was like a little receiver or something like that, but he just took the soul out of somebody trying to pull to the second level on him. He's a physical kid. He loves football. If you run down on kickoff like that and you have his measurables and then you play like that and destruct blocks, get off of offensive linemen, he can pass rush. He can play in space. He's up there mugging. Like, you can't block him. Now, you would say this is high school football, but he's playing against some big-time offensive linemen. And so you love his physical nature. You love the way he plays. He's a high-motor kid. He is smart as all get out. I talked to this kid for a while. Look at his lateral movement there, watching the play develop, and then sticking his foot in the ground and getting downhill and getting on a guy. You love a guy who can dissect a play early or whatever they say it, but you also love a guy who can run downhill on kickoff, who's a starter, and it's like he's the fastest guy on the field, and he's huge.
He's kicking. He was just the kicker and made the tackle. On that last one, he was the kicker. Yes.
How does that happen?
That
shouldn't happen.
By being Landon Gothier, by being the best athlete on the field. And, you know, Clint,
I think he's going to be special. I'm telling you.
Dude, he's got a nose for the ball. He's got and it's, oh God, again, like just someone you really enjoy watching these clips because he can do a little bit of everything. He's going to start at middle backer, but Clint, in this 3-3-5 stack, middle backer's got to be able to rush the passer, got to be able to drop in coverage, got to be able to get all the right run fits, and he's got the IQ, he's got the frame. Whoo, boy. I love it, Burn. I absolutely love it. What else is new?
Oh boy.
He's got the, listen,
would you want to ISO on him, Bernie? Would you want to ISO on him?
I mean, let's be real. I would run an ISO on anybody, but
I know you would.
I would love it.
But he wouldn't back down.
He wouldn't back down. But what I think is important in at least the 3-3 is he's going to find gaps and he's going to make plays, and he can also shed a block. He can also make guys miss. He's athletic and he can be all over the field. And I think having a high IQ like a Jeff Mack, even though he was a 4-3 true middle linebacker, having the IQ of knowing where to be, it's huge on a football field. You don't, like Dantes, you don't need to be a big dude if you're always in the right spot, right? Like you just don't need to be taking on fullback blocks and doing dirty work. You just make the tackle and do what you got to, you just do better than what you're told. And this guy looks like he's going to be that guy, like making those plays.
Well, and Dantes was a big dude. All right. That dude would thump you.
He'd thump you, but he was 6'2", 210, 215. Like,
he played much bigger.
He played
much bigger, but he wasn't coming up to take on an ISO. Like that wasn't his cup of tea, his concentrated green tea. But that dude was going to make the tackle. He didn't need to take the block. He was just going to make the tackle. So I think in the 3-3, we don't need these linebackers to take blocks on. We need them to make tackles. Yeah. And that's what this guy looks like.
And Dantes is a Towers legend forever.
Well, for my ridiculous comp here, I'm going with someone not quite the same profile, but same nose for the ball, and TJ Edwards, former Badger middle linebacker who could do a little bit of everything. He wasn't asked to blitz as much, but when he was asked to, he could do it well. But TJ Edwards was always in the right place, and I feel like Landon is always in the right place as well. Attention athletes. Do you want a frictionless and tailored financial planning experience to secure your future? Well, look no further. Introducing Oak Bridge Wealth Management, the premier financial planning firm for professional athletes. Led by wealth manager Chris Anicetti, our team provides a unique and comprehensive approach, ensuring your financial success both on and off the field. We understand the unique challenges you face as a professional athlete, from managing cash flow habits to planning major business purchases and navigating complex contracts. That's why we've developed a proven process, working closely with our strategic partners to provide seamless solutions for your unique financial journey. Our services evolve with your career, offering short, mid, and long-term goal setting, portfolio optimization, real estate investments, and more. As you transition to life beyond the field, We support you with career development and philanthropic ventures. But don't just take our word for it. Top NFL players like Chase Boulier, Tyler Biadasz, Alec Ingold, and more trust Oak Bridge Wealth Management to guide them towards financial success. Troy Dye of the Minnesota Vikings says, I really love the work that Chris and the rest of the Oak Bridge group do. I especially like the honesty and transparency when it comes to setting up financial goals and plans that best fit my needs and situation. It's time to elevate your financial game plan. Connect with Chris on Instagram at OakBridgeWM_Anicete. That's OakBridgeWM_ANICETE. And join the winning team. Now, Clint, it's finally time for some D-backs. And we're starting with high school All-American defensive back out of Philadelphia, Emilio Agard, who is, oh God, Clint, floor is yours, buddy.
Okay, so, well, we'll start with a little about his game. All right, he's not that 6'2" corner, but this guy covers like no other. He plays with an edge, and he's a flat-out baller. So I'm out in Philly with my wife. We're at dinner, table next to us. Couple of ladies over here. What are you eating? What are you eating? Hit it off. All of a sudden, she's like, my son's Emilio Agard. And we started talking. All of a sudden, we're FaceTiming. His plan was to go to Clemson at that point. His top 5 had like Alabama, Clemson, all these schools on it. And he ends up at Wisconsin. This kid can cover like no other. He's bigger than your Sparky type. He's in probably, he's the Jamar Fletcher mode. Like the way he moves, the way he tackles, his body control, his coverage ability. And I know Jamar won the Thorpe Award. He did. And he reminds me of him in a lot of ways. And then, getting to know his mom, getting to talk to him on the phone, FaceTiming at dinner while we were having a good time in Philly. There's a lot to like about this kid. I know him a little better than other guys who were not from my area. And I think that he's got a chance to be a big time player. The reports out of the All-American games were phenomenal about him. I've paid very close attention to him, even when I didn't know that he was in Wisconsin's wheelhouse, because talking to his mom that night at dinner, it sounded like it was all Clemson at that point, and she wasn't so sure about it. And then for him to end up at Wisconsin, I think is pretty cool. And I just think he's got so much upside. He's got the coverage ability to play very, very early because he's that type of player. You don't have to be that huge kid if you can cover, and he can cover. And I think he's going to be very special, very Jamar Fletcher-esque.
Yeah, one of the things I like about him is the ability that, he's played obviously a lot outside corner in high school, but I think he could also be dominant in the slot as well. And and he's got the ability to be both. He's got great hips, locked on, just sticky, man. And he's asked to play a lot of man coverage. He's going to be asked to play a lot of man coverage at Wisconsin. Super sticky, Bernie, and you got to love what you see about him with that athleticism.
A guy that can play tomorrow. Literally put him up against Marvin Harrison Jr. and see what he's got. And you know what? He'll be competitive. Hey, that's what we want. We want competitive dudes who can at least, they're going to bust their butt to at least hold him to less than he's done, less than he can do. And I like guys like that. You want an underdog, but he's also going to be an overdog too, because he's going to be a beast.
My ridiculous comp for him, Xavier Howard, the corner for the Dolphins, who is as good in man coverage as anyone out there, with about the same frame, that 5'11" frame, but just tough, sticky, quick hips, and can confident. And Clint, how important is it for a defensive back to have that confidence?
Dude, you got to have swagger. Like if somebody beats you up, you have to let, like, in your head believe that they did not beat you up. You're like, no, I got the best of you right there, bro. Like, because you got to have that type of mentality. I'm dead ass serious. Like if you got beat over the top, you're like, you didn't beat me. I screwed up. You got lucky. And like, that's the mentality that he plays with. You play with a chip on your shoulder. You're locking down whoever it is across from you. And there's something to be said about the mentality of a special corner. Jamar Fletcher, and I kept on bringing it up there, and he reminds me of him. Jamar Fletcher ran 4.6. Jamar Fletcher was not huge. Jamar Fletcher was the best college cornerback I may have ever seen. And there's something to be said about that. And I think Amelia probably has more physical skills than Jamar. I think he has that same type of swag. And you talk about your comp. I mean, he's a lockdown player. He can cover in the slot. He can cover on the outside. He's not afraid to hit you. He's a sure tackler in the open field. And just knowing his mom, I got plenty of confidence in him because she's got some dog in her too. So shout out to Agard's mom.
He's got that, but he's got that Jamar Fletcher in him. The next guy is kind of the guy that we expect a lot of the corners to look like under the Fickle regime. And that's Xavier Lucas out of Fort Lauderdale, American Heritage, one of the powerhouse programs in the nation. And he's got the size, Clint, 6'2", 185 long arms. And you can see why they were on him for a long time.
Yeah, and he doesn't even look 6'2", but like anytime you have a 6'2" guy who could run and flip their hips the way he does, and you're going to see him open his hips here, he's got so much range, okay? And then his ability to get in throwing lanes. And you kind of see it there where like he reads the play and he's able to jump up on a short pass and disrupt it. So, but what he does is when you have the length that a guy like he does, when you're able to open up and run, but also transition and break on the ball, you give yourself such a great chance in all different schemes. So they're going to play some man, they're going to play some zone, but a lot of the time in the 3-3-5, you're going to be on an island by yourself because those safeties are in run support. Sometimes they're blitzing. It's a very exotic defense in terms of what you can do secondary and second level wise. And so you love a guy like this. He's got incredible range. His ability to flip his hips at that height and length at a young age. A lot of these guys really struggle with that. Like you can see it, you see flashes of it, and you're like, okay, in 3 years from now, this guy is going to be a dominant player. But I see it right now. And then he sticks his head through a guy right there. I haven't watched a lot of them. I also love number 2 on the team. Hopefully Wisconsin can maybe go after him too.
That's Gregory Thomas, 4-star 2025 corner, by the way, number 2 on that team.
Yeah. And so if he's 6'2", Gregory Thomas is 6'8", and but no, we've got a confirmed height and length on him. This kid has every intangible, every physical thing, and every athletic skill set that you are looking for. Look at him run this dude. And that dude can run who he's chasing, and he hawks him down. So you need a guy with range in this defense, and that's what you love about him. Range, physical ability, and ability to not only have the size, but also the twitch to play smaller than you are size-wise.
I think we've seen a guy who's pretty tall, kind of lanky, one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL right now on my favorite team. So the ability of Fickle and some of these guys to look at a guy in high school and say,
saucy
type of dude, 6'2" is not a normal corner height, right? And you get a guy who can move and shake. You want that guy. You want to mold that dude. You also want to put him up against some of the bigger guys. So it's exciting.
Well, Bernie, from your lips to God's ears to my recklessly high comp, Sauce Gardner, baby.
Is it really?
Yeah, of course it is.
What is Sauce's actual size now?
6'3". I want to say like 6'3", 205, something like that.
Is he that big? Dude, I remember seeing him at high school camps, and he was rail thin, and he was not 6'3". But you could tell that he was going to grow. But okay, so that's really
he's listed at 6'3". Yeah, listed 6'3", 200. So you can see it. And the thing I like about Lucas, he's got real long arms too. I love these DBs with long arms. But the next DB we're going to look at is I think a hidden gem in this class. One of the least talked about recruits for the Badgers, and that's Jay Harper out of Alabama. And you don't see the Badgers going down to Alabama, pulling a lot of recruits, Clint. But I think they pulled a pretty good one here.
Yeah, what was my first question? How did they find this guy, and how did he end up at Wisconsin? The thing about Alabama is you talk about, and he's at not the biggest division, I think he said. Yeah, but he's 5A out of 7A.
Yep.
Okay, correct. So like Alabama recruiting, like you better have connections there, or you better know the spot to land at. And there are so many dudes who can play down there. And this is one of those guys who I think is, what is he rated?
3-star across the board.
How high?
He's a mid 3-star. He's a 5.6 on Rivals. He's, a mid 3-star. Like, I think 247 has like a 0.87 grade on him. So that's a mid 3-star.
And my limited eval of him, and I'm pretty good at evaluating corners and skill guys. I think this kid could be the gem of the class. I honestly do. I really do. And there's a lot of gems, and we've blown up a lot of guys. We're blowing smoke. People are going to be like, shut up, guys. We better win a national championship if everything you say is true. But just look at the way this kid plays. He's like a bat out of hell on every single play, and he's doing everything. He's playing receiver. All right. He just did awesome at that. He's a return man. Awesome at that. He's blocking a kick. Awesome at that. He's covering a dude. Awesome at that. Show me a dude who is awesome in every area of their game, and I'll show you a dude who is going to have a hell of a lot of success at the next level. This kid loves football. He's a competitor. He's an ankle biter like me. He got the tackle, however. He's going to grow. He's going to play big, and he's not afraid of anything. I really like this kid. Only watched him for a couple minutes, but he's got a chance to be special.
Yeah, those 5'8" dudes in Alabama are pretty good.
He's listed as 6 foot. He's not just an ankle biter. He's listed at 6 foot. So, I
that
think,
was with no disrespect.
No,
I was a hitter,
no.
ankle biter.
Listen, if you watch those clips, he's super calm, and he's coming up as a corner to make those plays on running backs and wide receivers. That is extremely important, too, when you're a corner, to be able to come up and make those plays. So it's very exciting. And he's not running, and he's not playing out of control. He's playing very much in control. And even if you look and you're like, why is he so slow? He's not slow. He's slow he's slow in his skill set. And he's going to explode to the ball and make the tackle. Listen, I'll never tell a corner to go up and try to crush somebody. Go down low, take out their legs, get them down on the ground, do your job. You don't need to hit people hard up top who are bigger than you. I learned that very, very quickly. It's a stupid thing to do in football, to hit guys who are bigger than you up high.
Bernie taught me that.
My reckless comp, Bills nickelback Taron Johnson, who was an All-Pro this year. Super versatile guy, plays almost exclusively nickel, but they will line him out line him up outside a little bit, and just. I love the way that this kid can flip his hips super fast. And Taron Johnson does the exact same thing for my beloved Buffalo Bills, who are on to host the Chiefs. With that,
how many Bills references are we only on 2?
That was 3. And
I made the first one, actually.
I know.
And that's 3 in 3 episodes. So give me a break, Bernie. Give me a break. Okay.
We'll see how many more you got.
The last one, though, the last person we're going to get here, though, is Rafael Dunn out of New Jersey. He's a safety. He's going to play dollar for Wisconsin. That's the Hunter Wohler position, where he's going to be, nominally a safety, but coming up doing a lot of run support as well. And, Clint, you don't see a lot of 6'4" defensive backs who can move like this guy.
No, he kind of reminds me as it's Sonny Styles, the Ohio State kid who could play anything from defensive back to safety to corner. Like, he's built like that, and I think he has that type of upside. So Wohler's best trait is he is a football player. Wohler was an Arrowhead guy, wasn't he?
I think so. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I think so.
Jensen, who we were talking about earlier, if he was. If not, excuse me for my incorrect English. But this kid, his range, his ability to be, a cover guy, a guy who can rush the passer, and you don't even have to see it on film. You see the physical skill set. Look at him as just, you talk about a rover type, you talk about dollar, and I was like, what's dollar? That got to be the rover type. This guy is a rover. He is roving the field to make plays, to hit you, to disrupt the ball. I just see so much upside here. I'm really partial to guys who have a ton of length and can actually keep track of their feet and break on a ball and catch it and get a pick six like we just saw there. And then you see him transition out of his break to come down and make a hit. There was about 3 defenders 10 yards in front of him, closer to that ball carrier. Who was the first one there? He was. And so you love guys like that. They play with intensity. He's got physical gifts for days. I think he's at a very raw stage of his career. And this is the type of guy who might end up being an outside linebacker. He might end up being a rush end. He could be a safety. I don't know, but I know I like that about him. Oh, let's see him. I bet he waylays. Enough, but he ran him down and he didn't have an angle, and you like that. So this kid's going to be a big dude. You get him in that strength program. He gets in throwing lanes. He's going to be able to do everything that you want, everything required in this defense to be very successful. Like I said, limited eval for me, but this is a type of kid that I turn on and I say, okay, physical profile, athletic profile. I watch 5 clips and then I say, okay, I'm going to watch this full film. A lot of guys don't meet that criteria. And he is a guy who has a chance to be a special player without me knowing very much about him. I want to know more about the mental. I see the physical special. I see the athletic is special. I see the upside is special. I'll learn more about him in the coming years, but I think he can be a great player.
Back in the day, we used to call these guys monster backs because you're asking them to do, they're coming up to play linebacker. They're in the flats. They're blitzing. They're deep thirds. Like they're doing crazy amounts of random. Out there on the field. And Hunter Wohler does that. Like you watch a game, you're like, what's this guy doing in like A gap? But he's up in A gap and it makes no sense. And if those guys and he comes in and learns from Hunter Wohler, man, that guy could be a bad dude for a number of years. And it's exciting. We need those guys. We need a rover, monster, hitter, whatever you want to be. We need those guys on defense. And Hunter Wohler is clear cut why we need that guy.
I love Wohler.
Quick,
love him.
First of all, quick bookkeeping. Hunter Wohler went to Muskego, and
I was way off.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
From Wisconsin.
From Wisconsin. But I think that all of my reckless comps, I think this is the most accurate one that I have, and it's Kyle Hamilton, former Notre Dame safety, plays on the Ravens now, and he basically plays monster for the Ravens. And he's the same player. That's 6'4". He's 210 right now. He's probably gonna get up to about 220 to 230-ish, I would imagine. And can run, can cover, can do a ton. And I love the versatility here. I love the size. And I'm like all these guys. I'm excited to see them on the field in Madison. So that is going to do it for the prep version of our Scouting Megapod. We'll be back with the transfers for a couple more episodes of that coming up in our upcoming episodes. So until that, we appreciate everyone tuning in to Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by betonline.ag and Oak Bridge Wealth Management. Until next time, thanks for tuning in, and on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin.
Let's go.